Okay, and we are recording. So I want to thank everybody for jumping on tonight's Runner Recovery webinar with Ellen Winick. She is the owner of Release Massage Therapy in Grays Lake, Illinois, which is a northern suburb here in the Chicago area. And we're very, very excited, or I'm very excited to have her on because I feel like recovery, how to recover, why it's important, all that just gets overlooked so much. And so it's going to be awesome to have her expertise tonight. And, she specializes in really treating all different types of patient populations, but especially in working with endurance athletes and helping them improve certainly performance. And Ellen is a nationally certified massage therapist through the Chicago School of Massage Therapy. And so, it's safe to say that we've got an expert on the line tonight, and I'm looking forward to turning this over to her and letting her run with it. She's got some great information, I know. Before I turn it over to Ellen, everybody, you'll see that there is a chat box. That's where you're going to want to type in your questions if you have any. I encourage you to make this interactive. I know really Ellen and I would love to get your feedback throughout. And please don't feel like there's any question that's too simple. We're all on this to learn, to work together. And that's why I love bringing experts like Ellen on to provide this type of value for you. And of course, this is being recorded, so the playback will be sent out in the coming days. So you'll have this as a resource. So if anything, you forget anything, you want to listen to something on your run, this is awesome, going to be awesome material. So without further ado, I've got Ellen Winick on the line, and she's going to lead us through. And we've got some folks jumping on here as we get started, which is awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and let me share my screen, Ellen, and then it should pop up here in a second. Let me know when you see it. There it is. Okay. All right.
Okay. Great. Well, hello, everyone. I am Ellen Winick. Thank you, Coach Seth, for that great intro. I'm really happy to be working with you. I don't think I've met another trainer who does so much and emphasizes so much recovery and parts of your training outside of your feet hitting the pavement. So I think this is really a great partnership, and I'm so pleased to be here. So just a few seconds about what I thought I would cover in this session. And as Seth indicated, please include any questions as they come up in your chat box. Happy to answer those as much as I can. And just to see who's out there, I wonder if you would all go ahead and put in the chat box, what's the most mileage you've run recently? And how would you rate yourself in terms of your recovery skills? Because that's really what we're going to talk about tonight, is recovery as a skill. I'm guessing that many of you, okay, we've got some 12 miles, good. I'm thinking a lot of people are up over 10. I'm guessing that most of you are in the depths of your training. It's starting to get hot out now. You may have been training for a while. Yep, you must have been training for a while with that kind of mileage. Good job. Another 12 miles. How are you doing in terms of your recovery? Are you feeling any tweaks, any discomforts, or feeling great? Just put that in there. Hot? Okay, Christina, you are hot, in hot weather for a while.
Absolutely.
All right, no kidding. Wow. Yeah, a little cooler than us here in Illinois. Regarding recovery, if you haven't already been incorporating recovery into your training, which I'm guessing that many of you have, now is for sure the time to be starting. Once you hit over the 10-mile mark, it just becomes that much more important. So tonight will be about teaching you some skills that you can hit the ground running with. At the end, we're going to watch a video of a very famous athlete that all of you know, and how beautifully he weaves recovery into his training. So the next slide here, what is recovery? And we have a definition. It's the act or process of returning to a normal state, the act or process of regaining something that is lost. And so I'd like to think about when you wake up in the morning, you're going to go for one of your long runs, and you're feeling pretty good, you're psyched, you're feeling hydrated, rested, you've eaten really well the night before, maybe you go do your run, and then you come back, and you're not maybe feeling quite the way you felt when you headed out the door. So you're now, if we call that when you head out the door a normal state, you are now maybe in less than normal state. So recovery is the way to get you back to whatever you've lost in the process, okay? It is critical to successful running, especially over time, okay? Because you might be able to go out and run 5 or 6 or even 8 miles repetitively, but once you start adding those miles and it's hot, there's a possibility that you might start hitting injury and other kinds of issues. So, and then lastly on this slide is that recovery is a high performance skill set that you can learn. I want to reinforce that. So I had a client come in recently because he'd been injured, and he's a regular client, but he often only comes in when he gets injured. And we are happy as massage therapists to treat people who are injured and help them get back going. But I asked him, I said, you know, why is it that we often only see you when you've injured and are injured? I expected him to say, oh, I just don't have time, or it's not in my budget, or what he said to me was surprising. And it was, I don't really know how often I should be coming for massage. In fact, I don't really know what I should be doing for recovery because it's not in my training plan. Everything else is in my training plan, how many miles to run and you know, when to do my intervals and things like that. But there's nothing about recovery. So we actually quickly put together a panel of endurance athletes, marathoners, Ironmen, to talk about recovery to athletes in our area. And some of what you'll hear tonight is based on that. All right, so the next slide, which is why do runners say that recovery is important? And here are 5 great reasons. It allows them to keep training. It helps them get faster and run further. It prevents injuries. We all want that. They feel good, not beat up or sore. And delayed onset muscle soreness, which I'm guessing most of you are familiar with. That's what you feel a day or two after you've had an intense workout and you wake up and everything is sore. It helps eliminate that. So we want you to be able to train at higher intensities with increased speed and increased volume. And that's really the point of recovery. And thank you for going to my next slide. This is my favorite slide. When we think about recovery, we can think about it as something that helps us refill our cup. So you may go out for a run and your cup is full, like here on the far right, and it slowly over the course of your 12-mile run gets a little more empty. And maybe even the next day, if you haven't eaten well or hydrated well, it gets even emptier. And then you might go out and injure yourself or might not have the energy to do the training that you're scheduled to do. So recovery is about refilling that cup. And what I would really encourage you all to do, because I'm guessing you're pretty in tune with your bodies, is to notice when your cup is getting depleted and be truthful with yourself. So instead of, oh yeah, I'm feeling great. Yeah, I'm kind of tired. I better do something to address that. So really be honest and do the things that we're going to talk about tonight that will help you refill that cup. So you're full. You're on the far right side. You are a total hydrated gallon of water, however much that is. All right, next slide. So these are the 7 skill areas around recovery that through my 22 plus years as a massage therapist, I have noticed with my clients. and particularly with runners. I've worked with quite a few runners, Ironmen, triathletes, and so these are the areas that you don't have to remember all 7, but I want you to just remember some of the key elements within each of these. And what I'm going to do as I talk through each of these 7 is to briefly just describe what happens in your training related to each of these in terms of depletion, and what are some strategies that you can use around recovery, and who can help you. So I encourage you to have a good team of practitioners. You may have your running pals, you may have your friends and family. Hoping you have Coach Seth as a professional to help you, but there are all sorts of other professionals out there that have skills in areas that can help you recover, and I'll talk about each of those as well. So let's go to the first skill, which is nourishment and hydration. So most of us are aware that training uses calories, burns calories, and depletes fluids. So if we think of our bodies as cars, our cars need gas, they need oil, they need windshield wiper fluid. They may need a car wash every now and then. All those things to help them continue to operate. And I think of the nourishment and hydration piece kind of like the gas and those fluids that your body needs. So we need to make sure that those are filled up and that they don't get too depleted as we are doing our activity. So a lot of you may already have strategies around fueling and hydrating. And honestly, everybody's going to be a little different and is going to have a little different need in terms of that. So I encourage you to find what's going to work best for you. One rule of thumb that many athletes say is when I go out for an hour plus workout, I need to eat something within 30 minutes to begin to replenish. Okay, so that's their rule of thumb. It might be something that works for you as well. So what I encourage you to do is ask your trainer or a sports nutritionist for a plan that's going to work for you. There's a lot of information on the internet. You can try things and you can see what works, but make sure you don't blindly follow it. You just you just really look at what's going to help you and what's going to help you replenish. Okay, skill number 2. Sleep and rest. By far and away, one of the most important skills. So when we did this panel with the endurance athlete, we asked them, what do you think is the most important recovery skill? And all of them said, sleep. So this is becoming a little more popular to talk about now. We used to pride ourselves on being able to do things without getting very much sleep. Oh yeah, I just ran 20 miles and I did it on 3 hours of sleep. Or, I worked a 12-hour day shift and I only had 4 hours of sleep. So honestly, what we've learned is that's really not going to do the best justice to us. Okay, so during sleep, all of our systems get to repair, and the longer we sleep, probably the most repair we're going to get. Okay, so some people will say 6.5 hours or more. Some people will say 8 hours. You have to figure out what's the right amount of sleep for you. And if you can't get the sleep at night, think about napping. Really encourage you to fit in. Even a 30-minute nap will give your body and your brain an amazing rest. Actually, 30 minutes is sufficient. Okay. So how do you do this? What are some strategies? There's something called sleep hygiene, which means a lot of things, but it can mean things like going to bed at the same time, having a household routine that allows you and the other members of your household to go to bed at the same time. It might be making sure your room is dark and supportive of you getting a lot of sleep. It might be how you go to sleep and meditating perhaps, or quieting your mind, or getting into those really comfy pajamas and opening the window and having a nice breeze. So whatever it is that helps you sleep the best. Couple suggestions that I've also seen people talk about is putting your legs up the wall and relaxing for a few minutes before you go to bed. Taking an Epsom salt bath or magnesium, which is a way to feed your muscles so you don't cramp at night. Essential oils, diffusing essential oils or putting them on the bottom of your feet. There are essential oils that really support you sleeping and sleeping through the night. And one that's really key, I think, is reducing the light from technology, whether it's from your phones, whether it's from an alarm clock, whether it's from your computer, not only reducing it right before you go to bed, but earlier on in the evening. So beginning to tell your body it's time to go to sleep. There are applications where you can reduce the ambient light on your phone or your computer so that over time it begins to tell your body that it is time to sleep now. Any questions on sleep? I think it's just so incredibly important. I did list sleep aids here. Some people really like melatonin, which is a more natural form of sleep. And sometimes when you're really having a hard time sleeping, or you know how critical it is, or you're going to have a shorter period to sleep, that may be something that you choose to do as well. Okay, let's go on to skill 3 then. Yes.
I'll interject just real quick. I'm so happy that you brought up sleep hygiene. Sleep was something that, gosh, 9 months ago that I was really personally struggling with and wasn't quite sure how to get a handle on, where was just waking up in the middle of the night several times and just was not getting restful sleep. And I think it's important too to note that it's not necessarily that magical 8 hours a night, because I think it's very personal. I think it's even as important, if not more important than the quantity, is that quality of the sleep that you mentioned. And so for me, it was taking a look at how my room was set up, making sure that it was completely dark, shutting down the technology, which is hard to do, but certainly shutting down the technology at least 30 minutes before going to bed. I even read something crazy like even the light that might be on your like the little light that's like on a smoke detector. You have photoreceptors on your skin that pick that up, and that can actually bring you out of that deep sleep, which I found was just so fascinating. So covering up all lights that are in the house, or excuse me, in the room, is key. And then sleeping with with a little bit cooler temperature in the room has done wonders for me. So I think that this is really important stuff, and this is one really kind of doable thing that we can take and we can implement even this evening. So for those of you who were on the webinar, just type in really quickly how many hours, on average, how many hours of sleep you get per night. We're just looking for a couple of responses.
Yeah, what I love about sleep is really, really?
Sleep? Who has time
5,
for that, right?
5, 7 to 8. Yeah. The thing is, sleep is cheap, right? It doesn't cost much.
Yeah.
It's one of the best recovery methods.
Absolutely. So 6 to 7. That's good. Well, and again, it's unique to everybody, right? Well, Ellen just said it's unique to everybody. And 5 hours for Lily Beth, she may wake up feeling completely refreshed. But I would just challenge you to this, that if you wake up in the morning and you feel trashed and you feel like you did not get a restful night's worth of sleep, then it's probably time to evaluate your sleep hygiene. Wouldn't you agree, Ellen?
Absolutely. And I think there's always one thing more that we could do actually to help ourselves sleep even better. So what I'd love to see you all do is make a commitment to one different thing you're going to do with your sleep the rest of the week. So you have 4 or 5 nights this week. Maybe choose one thing that you'd like to do a little differently and commit to that and see if it makes a difference for you.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love action items. All right. Well, in the recap to everybody, that's going to be the homework for everybody, not only on the webinar tonight, but for everybody that listens to the recording. All right.
Good. Awesome. And you're going to see at the video at the end, I keep plugging this, the video at the end, that this professional athlete really does value his sleep. That's beautiful. Okay, so skill 3 is in the realm of our skeletal system. So running stresses our bones, our cartilage, our spine, our alignment, and our joints, which are all part of the skeletal system. A really positive thing is that running helps build our bone mass and our density. So that's awesome. We want to keep doing that for our bones, but we also want to make sure we're not overstressing them. So we need to rest and repair our skeletal system, which will help increase our range of motion. And there are, under C there, some suggestions, as you see this gentleman on the bottom right doing horizontal resting. So taking a load off your skeletal system. Our skeletal systems are keeping us upright. Even when we're sitting all day, whether we're sitting or standing, they're keeping us upright. So being in that horizontal mode does give our skeletal system a break. This gentleman has his feet up, which is another benefit that I'll mention a little bit later when we get to the muscular system. It's more related to helping fluids flush. Chiropractors can be very helpful if you're feeling like your alignment is off. And a key to that might be is when you're out for your run, do you feel like you're just not running as smoothly and as kind of straight and aligned as you normally are? Orthopedic doctors can also be helpful. Physical therapists that work under them if you have an injury, but also if you're off in any way. Physical therapists can help you build up areas that might allow you to be more aligned, as can your personal trainer. Strength training can be used as a way of recovering your alignment. So if you're getting off in your run, doing some strength training that helps you realign can be really important. Pilates and yoga and massage all work more the soft tissue, but sometimes if we strengthen or shift the soft tissue, then the skeletal system will realign to where we need it to be. And there's also nutrition that we can take to build and support our bones. Okay, so there are supplements related to that. So then we have 4 more, and I've left these till the end because they're more related to, I think, massage and my area of expertise. So go ahead to the first one, which is the mind. And I love, this is one of my favorite areas for recovery. So in addition to the physical energy of training, think about how much mental energy and focus your training takes. So while you're running, you might be thinking about your body mechanics, your speed, your heart rate, you're checking your watch, you might be thinking about your fueling. When you're not running, you're thinking about your next run. You're thinking about maybe needing a new pair of shoes. You're thinking about recovery and other parts of your training, strength training, other kinds of things. So it's occupying a lot of mental energy and focus. And especially as you get deeper into your training, that may be so much at the front of your mind all the time. Now, I don't know if you're like me or not, but when my mind gets overtaxed, I start doing things like losing my keys, forgetting to feed the dog. Maybe I'm a little late to pick my son up because I forgot what time I was supposed to get him. So things like that. Anybody else? Anybody else have
Oh, yes.
those kinds of, yeah,
Every day.
yeah, right?
Every day. Yeah.
Okay. So I think, if we listen to ourselves and say, oh, wait a minute, there's something I'm not taking care of, and it might be clearing out space in my brain to function, and maybe I should do a little of that so it can manage the day to day. So we need to maybe give our minds a rest. And it might be just from the training piece of it. It might be from other things. And these are some strategies for doing that. Meditating, yoga, acupuncture, massage, all of those things take our brains to another level where we're not, we're present to maybe our breathing, or we're present to the exact moment. And so we can let go of all those other things that we're thinking about and all those other obligations that we have, and really clear out space for being present in the moment. A hot bath. I don't know, I might be dating myself, but there used to be these commercials for a bath additive called Calgon, and the ad was, Calgon, take me away, right? So it was, I think it was usually an overtaxed mom in a bathtub, just enjoying being away from everything. So relaxing and laughing with your friends and family, going to a movie, reading a book, doing something that gives your brain a break from all the day to day. I would really encourage you. And again, it doesn't have to be a big time commitment. It could be that, you know, sometimes my meditations are 30 or a minute long. Sometimes you can just sit there and breathe for 15 seconds, and that is a break in and of itself. So, Seth, any practices that you have around clearing your mind that you might want to share?
Yeah. Well, quick sidebar. Whenever my wife and I are having a particularly stressful day, or certainly she's having a stressful time with the kids, we'll text each other, Calgon, take me away. Which is funny that you bring that up, because you're not dating yourself, because I totally remember that. And it always just kind of brings levity to the situation. But yeah. So this is the part of my own training and just daily life that I've really been focusing on for like the last year, because I am one who struggles with anxiety, historically have not been good with dealing with stress, which as a entrepreneur is something that you want to be able to do efficiently. And so I have been practicing yoga twice a week for the last year and a half, and that's helped tremendously. And really within the last 6 months, started consistently meditating. And I would just say it's been a journey with that, because there's been days and weeks where I've been very consistent with it. And then there's been times where I forget about it and then the day gets away. But I definitely notice that if I just take 5 minutes in the morning, usually right after I get out of bed, and sometimes I'll use like a guided meditation, whether it be like Headspace or Calm, which are apps that you can download on your phone. Or I'll just sit in silence and just focus on my breathing. And of course my mind is racing, but I'm able to kind of refocus and just practice on that. And I notice that when I'm able to do that right out the bat, my days are more productive, they're more positive. Any stress that tries to make its way into my day, I'm able to handle it much more efficiently. So those are a couple things. I am a big fan of, really, I don't do hot baths typically, but taking a hot shower and then using magnesium before I go to sleep, that's nice and relaxing. And then of course, watching something funny, or just relaxing and with people that I love at the end of the day, is always good for the soul. So those are just a few things, but it's been something that I was completely oblivious to, kind of this mindfulness practice, even up to a year ago. But it's done wonders for my own sanity and for my own training.
Yeah, I love those apps, because honestly, I think having a guided meditation when it's feeling difficult to take that moment really eases it, makes it much more doable.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and one other thing I want to say about the mind too. So to me, running is very meditative and very spiritual. And so when you can get into that space with your runs and use that as a meditative calming practice, I think that's fabulous. And some days it might be a little easier than others, but that's a really nice part about running.
And the last thing I would say about that, I do a lot with my local clients, but I would say to everybody that's on the webinar and who's going to be listening, that is, before you run, you go through your dynamic warm up, and hopefully we're all doing that, and we're getting our bodies primed for the workout. But I like to just take a minute or two and close my eyes and do some deep breathing, just to kind of get into the zone, so to speak, like Ellen, is mentioning. And I like to do that at the end of my cool down as well, just to take some time for myself. Because I agree, I totally agree that running can be a spiritual, relaxing endeavor. But you have to get in the right state of mind to do that. So I'd encourage everybody in your next run, go through your warm up, and then right before you do, take a minute or two to close your eyes and just focus on your breath before taking off.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. All right. So speaking of stress, forgetting our keys and forgetting our sons, the nervous system is another area that we kind of forget about sometimes. And so just raising our awareness about the role of our nervous system is incredibly powerful. It affects our sensory input. It affects the way we integrate all of the systems of our body, and it affects our motor output, which is directly related to our ability to run and do physical kinds of things. So we want to encourage our nervous system to regenerate and incorporate what we're doing. Our nervous system is incredibly resilient. We just need to give it time to catch up and do what we need it to do. So without really having to understand a whole lot of biological detail on our nervous system, what we just need to understand is when we're out of whack. And again, listening to, am I stressed? Am I out of whack? Am I overtaxing my nervous system? And can I give it a break? And these are some of the ways to give it a break. Some sleep, extra sleep, rest during the day. There's something called cranial sacral therapy. I don't know if you all are familiar with that. It is something we practice here. Its intention is to completely relax the nervous system. And when you get this kind of therapy, everything shuts down and you go into this amazingly quiet space. I can't stay awake when I receive this because everything just shuts down. So that's just one therapy I'm familiar with. Anything that you do or know about stress reduction are all good skills to use when you notice that you're feeling kind of out of whack. That's what I call it, and pulling your hair out. Okay, let's move on to 6, circulation, our circulatory system. So running both strengthens and taxes our circulatory system. We know that good, healthy running supports our heart and supports our circulatory system. So hooray, that's fabulous. Sometimes we need to give our heart a little bit of a break and a little bit of a rest, especially for doing some intense workouts. So ways to do that are more controlled running. So instead of pushing it, and I know, Seth, you built these into their plans, intervals or a slow warm up or a slow cool down, those are all things you can do to support your heart and its health. And many of you may be looking at your heart rates when you're running. So being in particular zones that Seth or others have suggested for you is another way to take care of your heart and not overtax it. You can also kind of reboot your circulation. So sometimes if your body's not circulating effectively, and it may be the pulmonary, the cardiac system, it may be your lymphatic drainage system, which controls the fluids in your body. Sometimes those need a reboot. And they need a little rest and they need to be restarted. And there are therapies which can do that. Lymphatic drainage therapy is great if you feel like you're retaining water, especially if you come off of a long airplane ride or you've had a really intense workout. It's a way to help flush fluids. We have something here called pneumatic compression, which are these, we call them recovery boots. Some of you may have seen those. You put them on and you lie there for, they just zip up on your legs. You lie there for half an hour to an hour and they flush excess fluids and your legs feel as if you have not just done an intense workout. And it's a really nice way to get the circulation starting again. Massage is all about circulation. So we're gonna help get things moving, and circulation, not only is it helping your heart, but it's also nourishing your body. And so it's getting that good blood and the good oxygen and the nutrients that your blood provides to everywhere in your body that helps it heal, especially if you're starting to feel like something's going to become an issue. You get good blood flow in there, and that's going to help heal it before it becomes an issue. Okay. Number 7, muscles and flexibility. So this is really where we operate as massage therapists quite a bit. When you're out there doing your runs, your muscles are contracting, they're tightening. That might end up leading to a decrease in flexibility, and it might increase your inflammation, the fluid retention. So we need to repair, renourish muscles, and increase our flexibility and our range of motion. And here's a laundry list of a few things. Oh, I misspelled cupping. Epsom salts we've talked about, cool downs, stretching. So we haven't talked that much about stretching. In that second picture from the left, you actually see it's either a personal trainer or a massage therapist helping stretch someone. It's passive stretching, which can be really nice. It helps you stretch even a little bit more. You want to do that when you're warmed up, okay? Yoga, using lacrosse balls, foam rollers. If you haven't heard about foam rollers, I'd be really surprised, but there's so many ways to use foam rollers. We have on our website, we have a link to a great foam roller video that helps you see all the different areas of your, all the muscle areas and how to foam roll them, particularly the ones that are used for running. Again, the pneumatic compression garments, socks, electrical stimulation. We use something called kinesiology taping. So you may have seen that in the Olympics with the volleyball players. They have the tape on their arms and their shoulders. What it does is it brings more blood flow into those areas and helps them heal. It can also support the muscles and the tissues. Cupping, which you'll see in the video, is again another way to help with muscles, help with flexibility, and help with circulation. Resting and you're nourishing. On the far left there is one of my clients in the recovery boots, so you can see what that looks like.
Love the recovery boots, by the way.
Oh, they're amazing.
Highly recommend those who have not tried them yet.
Yes, if you're in the area, I have offered to one of the groups that Seth coaches free use of the recovery boots. If you contact me and want to use them, I will be happy to make that deal with you as well.
Thanks, Ellen.
Okay. Anything else on this one, Seth, before we move on? Okay. So let's talk about the 3 types of massage, and I know I'm gonna wrap this up in a minute here, a couple of minutes. There are 3 types of massage: maintenance massage, post-event, and injury-focused massage. So depending on where you are in your training and what type of recovery you need, it's important that you know the difference between the types of massage so you can ask your therapist for that type and explain to them where you are and what you need. Maintenance massage is an ongoing massage, regularly, as often as you can do it. Weekly would be lovely. Monthly is I think key for recovery, especially once you're up over 10 miles of running. And that can be a more gentle circulatory massage. It can be a deeper tissue massage. You don't want to do deep tissue right after an intense training, but a couple of days later you could. So there are lots of different types of massage. There's Thai massage, which is stretching, myofascial, which really gets the connective tissue moving, and that can affect your flexibility and affect just how you're feeling in terms of your comfort when you're running. Post-event massage is literally right after an event. It might be focused more on compression and getting circulation flowing so you don't have that muscle soreness. And then injury-focused massage is exactly what it looks like. You have an injury, you come in to get treated to help recover from that. How to get the most out of your massage. These are my 101s. Find a massage therapist who's experienced with runners. Key. Let your therapist know what you need out of your session. Talk to them up front. Okay. They want to know what you need. They'll should spend a few minutes with you at the beginning designing a session that's what you want. Trust that it's all connected. So this is my plug for massage therapists. someone might come in and say, I'm feeling some pain in my Achilles, plantar fasciitis is a common one. So I'm having plantar fasciitis. Could you work the bottom of my foot? Well, yes, we're going to work the bottom of your foot, but oftentimes it might actually be coming from your calf, or it may even be coming from your hip. So as massage therapists, we're trained to look to kind of find the puzzle of where it's coming from and to work all those areas. So even if you came in to get your calf worked and your therapist says, I'd really like to work your hip because I think it's related, then that might be a good use of your time. Absolutely, the area that's bothering you needs to be worked, but trust their expertise in terms of that. Communicate your comfort level to them during the massage. Massage should not be painful. You should not be holding your breath or in any way resisting. You should be able to deal with what's being given to you. Follow any self-care suggestions that your therapist or your personal trainer makes to you. Get a massage after intense training or when you're feeling a tweak. So please, 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 if something feels like it's not right, go and get a massage or do any of these other recovery sorts of things we've talked about before it becomes a full-blown injury. Avoid intense training for 24 hours after a massage. So if you are able at the least to get a good night's sleep between the massage and your next training, that will help you take advantage of the benefits of the massage and get it consistently. Okay, next slide. So how do you find a good massage therapist? Referrals from other runners, your personal trainer, your physical therapist, a local running store. You may see therapists at running events. That usually means that they're good with athletes, so they may be good. And any of these massage professional organizations, I've listed 3 here, have search engines that allow you to find a massage therapist in your area. Okay. So before I take any other questions, let's have a look at this video of an amazing professional athlete doing recovery. And as you watch it, just notice and kind of jot down what it is that you think he's doing. And you might want to make sure the volume's turned all the way up, Seth. And
Yep.
if you can make the picture big, that'll be great. But
So
all the things that...
everybody can see that I'm on YouTube right now?
Yeah. So
okay.
This is on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Okay,
so
let's do it.
Let's go. Yeah, enjoy. I'm not getting volume. There we go. Do you want to start it over?
Yeah, were you getting volume?
Now I am. Okay. I'm hoping everybody else is.
All right.
Okay, so my volume wasn't totally working on that. I'm not sure if the others of you could hear. It's a really powerful video with when the volume is in sync with the pictures. So you can, if you want to just jot down the link there, the YouTube link, or you can just Google Phelps rule yourself and watch it. It's really powerful how much he does around recovery. So if you could type in the chat box any things that you noticed around what he did with recovery. I love that byline that, you know, it's what you do in the dark that brings you into the light. And as we know, he brought himself into the light for sure. So anything anybody noticed around recovery, things that he did? Cupping, sleep, lots of sleep, ice baths, mental check-in, yep. Sleep, nutrition, cross-training. The flexibility, the amazing way he brought his legs up was unbelievable. Relaxing activity. Great. Great. He was, I don't know if you all know what what's it called? A hyperbaric chamber is. He went into that chamber. It's an intense form of oxygen. And it's a really cool way to recover. So he was in that. I think we got most of them. Vomiting, I don't know if that counts as recovery, but he did. He did vomit as well.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, great. So what's the next slide here?
Oops.
Oh, he uses massage too, and multitasks, as you can see. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah. So I think that's it. We can go to the last slide. This is my wish of good luck to you. Oh, it looks like did we lose we might have lost my contact information on there as well. Somehow that didn't come up.
Well, we'll be sure to
Yeah, but you'll include that.
Yeah, make sure
Yeah.
everybody gets the contact information for sure.
Yeah, that's me on the left, wishing you all good running and great training and recovery. And I am available. You'll get my contact information. Feel free to email me, call. If you are in the Lake County area where we're located in Grays Lake, we would love to see you. We have 8 incredibly experienced therapists that are athletes themselves and love working with athletes. So if there are any other questions, feel free to write them in the chat box there.
Yeah, so encourage, if you have questions, as Ellen said, definitely now's the time to ask. And I think, you know, Ellen, it really, when it comes to recovery, it doesn't need to be something, if you're looking at it from a day-to-day perspective, that we need to spend tons of time doing. I think just the most importantly is just that we're consistent with it. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And thank you for bringing that up. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It can be a little part of every day. And I would encourage you to do it every day instead of, you know, oh, I'm going to foam roll on Friday. You know, oh, you get off that run, your glutes are feeling a little tight. You take 2 minutes and you foam roll. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a big time suck, and it doesn't have to be complicated. It just should really be, and I didn't mention this, but it really should be part of your training rather than an adjunct. Yeah.
I agree. I think, you know, we're all doing great things. We're warming up. We're running. We're starting to get into some high mileage. We're cooling down. We're doing strength training. We're doing cross training. Recovery is just as important, if not more important, and allows us to get from one workout to the next. So, as we all know, the only way that we're going to get to that start line healthy is being consistent in training with all of these things. So I think a couple of things that we take away that I think Ellen brought up, which is very, very important, is sleep. So we all had that challenge, right, guys, that we've got that sleep. For those of you who are going to be joining us on the recording, that take a look at your sleep and commit to changing one thing for the next 7 days, whether that be completely darkening your room, shutting down electronic devices 30 minutes before you go to bed, getting rid of all light in the room, taking a hot bath before you go to sleep. Commit to something like that over the next 7 days, and see what changes. I'm betting that sleep quality improves, and just be consistent with all these practices. And you know, experts and massage therapists like Ellen and the folks that work in her clinic are key resources. So even if you live, you know, in California or in Texas or in Lake County, Illinois, you know, seek out these experts in your area, because they can be integral parts of your team and helping getting you to the start and finish lines of your respective races this fall.
Yeah, great.
Awesome. Awesome.
Great. Thanks,
Well,
everybody. Thanks, Seth.
well, I'd like to thank you, Ellen. Thank you so much for jumping on. Thank you, everybody, for attending tonight's webinar, and thank you to those who will be listening here in the future. I will be sure to send out the recording and a recap in the coming days that will include Ellen's contact information. And if no one has any last-minute questions, enjoy the rest of your evening, and best of luck the rest of this week, and take care.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.